Miss Mel here, and today I'm going to talk about flashpoints.
On a new adventure.
So flashpoints essentially are dungeons. You and or a group of people will enter a flashpoint, fight a number of enemies, and usually 3 bosses along the way. Flashpoints are connected to the story, as you can see here. The 3 levels of difficulty for flashpoints are story mode, veteran mode, and master mode. There are 2 ways to enter a flashpoint. You can queue for a flashpoint, or you can form a group first and enter it manually by talking to an NPC that has the quest and then entering the phase. A lot of these can be found on the fleet. If you take the elevator and go 1 down, you will see a number of terminals where you can talk to an NPC to get the quest to then be able to enter the phase. With the manual method, you can choose story, veteran, or master mode difficulty and enter with any number of up to 4 players. So now I'm going to go over how to use the Activity Finder to queue for flashpoints. So on your minimap, there's a button to open the Activity Finder. Opening up that will show you the group and the solo tabs. On the solo tab, you can see a number of heroic missions you can travel to and a list of flashpoints. Not all of them are here for solo mode, but the ones that you can do will usually give you a decoration as a reward. When you queue solo, you will get a combat droid as well as your companion to help you out with the combat. Over on the group tab, you can see at the bottom there are veteran and master flashpoints you can select and queue for. You can also click on the difficulty that you want to queue for and go to the filter where you can then select which flashpoints you want to queue for. If you click off any, you won't get the daily reward, and each one has a different minimum level requirement. Veterans starts at level 15 and you'll unlock more as you level up. For master mode, it is level 70 plus. I recommend being at least level 75 personally, just because they are a bit harder. Above the difficulties, you'll also see your group role, which you can change in the drop-down menu. It's important to note that the role there is bugged. Once you initially change it, you'll then have to either switch instance or travel to a personal guild stronghold or personal ship. By switching instances, you essentially put into effect the role change that you had. So once you're ready, you can open up that Activity Finder and hit that queue button. So once you're in queue, you'll be waiting for a pop-up that will then let you check ready. Once the whole group has done so, you'll be able to pop into that flashpoint. You can also see what roles are there and if your role was correct. If it's wrong, you can just let your team know that the role that it says you are is not actually the role that you'll be playing. Once the team's readied up, you can click Travel Now or Travel Later. Travel Now will throw you into the instance. Travel Later will minimize it. You can re-click the Activity Finder for it to pop up. Then you can hit Travel Now when you're ready and hop into that instance. So while for veteran flashpoints, it'll put you with any 4 people of any roles. For master flashpoints, it will require 1 tank, 1 healer, and 2 DPS. To compensate, however, veteran flashpoints do have these nice health stations. There's usually multiple per boss fight. You can click them, it'll heal up the whole group to full, and that'll help you get through the content even without a healer. Now I'll go over a few etiquette things to look out for when you're running some flashpoints. Firstly, if you're new, you can just let your team know that you're new to the flashpoint. They'll often give you any advice on mechanics or things you need to know for that flashpoint. Second, it's good to understand the concept of line of sight. So someone will attack a group of enemies and your group will hide behind walls, after which the enemies will come to try and attack you and they will all clump up in the process. This will make it much easier to hit them down all at once with area of effect attacks. Next, you want to make sure to let your tanks go first so they can generate that threat, and then you can follow up with damage. Any enemies that have not been hit by a tank or a DPS will generally go right for the healer, so if you are a tank or DPS, watch out for that. Make sure to protect your healers. What's also good practice to follow your tank, also follow the veteran players who know the flashpoint more on the route that they take. Often you can sort of avoid enemies by sneaking around them, hugging the walls. You can also let your stealth characters go into stealth and sleep any non-droid enemies that don't have stealth detection. And that'll help you get past enemies that you'd otherwise have to fight, such as right here. Once you've completed a flashpoint, sometimes there will be an exit door or an exit button. Other times you may have to go to your minimap and click on the exit area button there, which will activate a 10-second channel, after which you'll be able to either go to your previous location or exit the location. Previous location goes to wherever you were before you entered the flashpoint, and exit location puts you at the entrance to the flashpoint, which is often where the NPC you need to talk to turn the quest is at. Lastly, some flashpoints do offer bonus quests and bonus bosses. If you're interested in doing these, generally ask the group, because most people will default to not pursuing those objectives. So I hope this guide was helpful, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and may the force be with you.